barrier that kept us in and kept others out while we fought this war to end the evil on our planet. But by default, we freed multiple star systems by eliminating the evil that was wrenching Earth. If they lose one, they lose it all. So there's a lot of restricted will universes that's being retrained and going to matriarchal order. And some of them are going to patriarchal order because of the vibration of their planets, right? But they go into a new order that is embracing the highest principles of freedom of the individual to manifest their destiny, right? So when you say the Pleiadian seal and they talk about the Galactic Council, these are codes, right? Let's just say, for instance, ain't nobody out there in the stars and we all down here on the ground, but they telling us some motherfuckers coming from the stars. I'm going to read it as an energy and a coded message. I'm not going to read it as an individual that look like me with flesh and blood jumping off a ship until I see one, right? I'm going to read the energy signature. The energy signature tell me it's something up there.
Yes.
I don't know what the fuck it is because I ain't seen it yet. I know where it's supposed to land on Emerald Lake in Colorado. I know it's supposed to be a crystal city, but I don't know what that motherfucker look like. So I just read it as an energy. And if I read it as an energy, my intuition kick in and say, it's something up there. Whatever the fuck it is, it's up there. And it's a bunch of them. And they every fucking where. And people can't see them. That means they're just outside of our light perception. Because, you know, we only see on a certain spectrum of the light wave. They there though.
People, if they elevate their life, if they elevate their consciousness.
Elevated consciousness expands your light spectrum perception where you can see more. This is why a lot of us are starting to wake up and we starting to see more. And now we starting to see some shit up there. I'm earthborn, so I'm not worried about going nowhere in those stars. I'm staying right here on the ground where I'm from. My motherfucking body come out of the Mississippi red clay dirt, the Adama, right? So I don't care if somebody want to go to another star system and leave this motherfucker. Good riddance. I'm earthborn. I'm from here. I don't give a fuck about that shit in the stars. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm worried about what's going on the earth. But at the same time, it's something going on in the sky. Yes, ain't no goddamn doubt about it. Whatever the fuck it is, it's going on and it's huge.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of motherfucking commotion up there.
And they're trying to distract it with the chemtrails and the clouds, like especially in Chicago. It's like it was beautiful, it was clear earlier, and then by 6 o'clock it was freezing cold and cloudy, and just so it's definitely something going on here. And earlier you were talking to the young lady about going to the, you know, when she to wear white, and so you told me in Clubhouse to do that when I was in Mexico, and I did, and it was such a huge activation. So I thank you, because just following, and I even wrote in the comments, follow his instructions to a T, because that way of like wearing white, and just like even when like almost when I was early in the morning walking on the beach, everybody moved out my way and just connected straight up. It was so like just me and the sun. It was like I opened up a portal. So I thank you for that encouragement, because I'm almost like, I don't wear white, I don't want to get dirty, you know, blah blah blah. What got dirty and got makeup on it, I just could wash it or throw it away. So I thank you for that, because I followed your instructions. I didn't get to tell you thank you for that, because it was a huge activation.
Yeah. Okay, I've been saying it for people that haven't been watching me as long. I've been saying that since 2019, 2018. Right. So some of my earliest stuff was talking about the congregation of the sisters at the Sweetwaters, which is fresh water, unsalted water in groups with white. And that's an old Mississippian ritual that was done. It was done in the Mississippi River. It was done in the Amazon River, but it was also done in the Nile River and in the Tigris and the Euphrates River around the world. It was done in the Yellow River in China and the Ganges River in India. All of the women did it, and there was a great earth rituals that they did, and it was part of a routine maintenance. Or it was like the women, you know how you take a special spa day? Mm-hmm. That's what the women go into those bodies. That's why they polluting the rivers. So y'all don't do that. Because when y'all do that, it activates so much love energy on Earth. This motherfucker is heaven. We ain't got to go nowhere. We just got to clean this shit up.
Yeah.
You know, so, and we did the work. Mission accomplished. Thanks to them badass sisters that know how to teach them babies how to motherfucking read them codes. My mama was one of them, and I was paying attention.
Well, I have my altar up, and I've been connecting to, you know, my ancestors and my grandmother. So my ancestors are from Mississippi, and you know, I have in front of my altar, I've been doing veneration candles, but I call it tea time with mommy. And so I've been, you know, writing and journaling, and then my grandmother's name is Viola, and then so just all these different synchronicities, boom, 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 throughout the day, just like, you know, whether I see like the violet flower, you know, just all these, like, to let me know that I'm here, and, you know, and it's nothing that is outside of us we need to call upon, but we need to call upon, activate the dormant DNA of our ancestors to just, because I feel so light and free in my body now that I've been doing the connection to them. But before I was like, okay, well, they weren't available. My grandmother was alcoholic. My mom was, you know, all these things, right? And then so these things that of shame that kept me in a like self-imprisonment and like, oh, fuck them, they not here no more type of mentality. Whereas now it's like, no, well, I'm thankful that they came here because I look just like my grandmother more than my mother. And so since I've been working with her, she's been right beside me, clearing away. It's just been,
you know, the more you understand that these energy signatures, you are the sum total of all of the ancestors before you. So when you can communicate, you got the channels in your DNA to communicate with anybody on your genetic line that you can trace to. You can communicate with any one of them directly, ancestors, because you already, their DNA is in you. Right? And so this is why they be telling us about this, don't listen to the ancestors. They think that people not in the physical body is dead. The motherfucker in the body is the dead motherfucker.
right.
We walking around animating a corpse. All they got to do is stop paying your air bill and turn your air off, and you'll see how stiff that motherfucker get. Because you can't facilitate the soul's burning without the air. It won't work. It won't work. It's like trying to drive on 4 flats. Ain't no air, it don't work. You can't burn without the air. That's why you got a body temperature. That's the burning, right? When the mitochondria reach the love energy, that's when the passion is at its highest. And that's when the men become masculine and, you know what I'm saying, and focused. They want to break the women so they can easily assault the men. Y'all the backbone. We the arms and legs. We supposed to be kicking ass and slapping faces. Right? But if y'all broken, if the back broke, the body don't work. So we need to heal the sisters, because the sisters gonna raise healed babies, and the men gonna automatically fall in line. They can't help it. And the ones that ain't doing their self work, they gonna short circuit.
I love when you say they gonna just.
Them Nambo niggas is gonna run into walls, dive out of windows, and all kind of shit. Be eating their own flesh. That's the zombie apocalypse there. While they trying to make all that other shit up, that's not what it is. If they haven't done their self work, they won't be able to facilitate turning that energy level to God level in him, and he gonna break down. It's just like trying to put motherfucking rocket fuel in the goddamn Honda. It's too potent. It can't run. It's gonna turn and spit it, boom, backfire, and be done.
Yeah. And so it's
too much octane.
You're investing in, you know, like supporting the divine feminine, because if we can stand in our power, then no matter it, we won't dim when we're around, when people start like that, our energy is too much for other people. We can still stand up in our power, and then they'll either just fucking crank out.
If they ain't ready and they feel that shit, they going the other way. They don't know why they gotta go, but they can't be able to stay in y'all presence as a broken vessel. They got 2 options: heal or go. They can't do nothing else. Because if they refuse to heal and they don't go, they just gonna short circuit. And they higher self gonna give them a warning the first time, but it ain't gonna tell them more than 2 times. If they don't figure it out by the end, they just gonna be on their own.
And that's where the sudden death syndrome is happening.
Yeah. Some of them is just flat out Earth is turning off DNA. I've been told motherfuckers is just gonna be dropping dead for no reason. That's because they don't belong here. And when the Earth frequency start changing, they mitochondria is going to get shut off and their body can't function. It don't work. That's the power source. That's where the source of the burning come from. The conversion of energy coming from the mitochondria to fuel the DNA causes the motherfucking burning that facilitate the fire of the soul, a neutron star in the human body.
You know, I love this, the way you're describing it, because on my veneration candles, and I DM your picture, it's like you could see the wax, it makes an image, and you could see it looks like flames and then people around the flame. And ever since I was little, I used to always want to fire walk. I always wanted to just be like, you know, like, oh, okay, well, I can just control it with my mind and just go. So is that something connected to the mitochondria?
The whole fire Shakti, it's called Shakti. It's the flaming feminine, divine feminine energy. When it's in the love mode, it's the energy of Oshun. But when it's in war mode, oh my God, don't nobody want to be around that shit. That's shit, what's the name? From Egypt, the one turned into the lioness and just started fucking motherfuckers up because shit. What? Yeah, that's Sekhmet energy. Don't no motherfucker with no motherfucking want to be around that shit. You can't fight that woman. You can't win.
She came to me in the parking lot at work the other day. You know what I do for work, and so she came. She's black and white cat. She walking through the lot, and she went up to this thing, and I later saw it was just the skin of a rat. It was the skin of a rat. She went like this, and then I'm taking a walk, decompressing, and she walking through the lot, and then she looked at me and it's like, meow, meow. And I was like, she like letting me know, like, all right, fuck around and find out. And something happened, you know what I mean? Like they took my Cobra again. You know, I got Anubis on my desk, and now they took my little widget Cobra. And I'm like, okay, so I guess they about to fuck around and find out, because she didn't look at me dead in the eye. She meowed, and I'm like, okay, Segment not playing. So
yeah, they touching those shit. Anubis, they don't really know what they doing.
No, they ain't touching Anubis. They moved the widget, my Cobra though, and so I think they ain't touched the black owl or the Anubis. So I'm like, okay. So they ain't touched them, but they retook the Cobra, they'll move the Anubis to the other side, or they'll move the owl just to kind of fuck with me. But I think that they are scared to completely remove it. But I'm like, okay.
Do this. The next time you get a lead, whisper in Anubis ear, say, make them show themselves next time.
Okay. I'm gonna tell them that.
Look, something gonna happen. They gonna drop something or make some kind of commotion, and you're gonna know exactly who it is. Because soon as it happens, first thing you're gonna say is, thank you, Adams. I know that. I knew it was that bitch the whole time.
Because that's some big ass shit any damn way to fucking fuck with them. They don't know what they fucking with. So I just appreciate them because they make my power stronger. They make me conjure stronger and remember who I am. So when you talk about the conjure words, I'm like, oh, it's through the opposition that you conjure more and remember who you are. Like today, I was taking a walk and I called on my ancestors and said, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm in the woods out in the south suburbs. And then on the ground, it was a white eget. Is that how you say the bird name? White eget? E-G-E-T. You know, the white bird with the long neck and the yellow beak.
Oh, yeah, the Banu bird. It's a egret.
Yeah. And so I told my ancestors, said, clear me from anyone, activate my dormant DNA. And I looked over to the left, the feminine side, that the egret was in the grass walking so gracefully and walking the same way. And I'm like, okay. I said, so then shortly after I got a phone call, T-Mobile calling me about a damn bill from 3 years ago on some bullshit, $200 bill. I'm like, you really calling me about a $200 bill 3 years later? I look over to the right, the red-tailed hawk, just wingspan so beautiful, just gliding, like, let that shit go you told me last time to pay attention to the sides where I see the signs. So, and since you told me about that, I've been seeing the hawks in 2. And so I thank you for getting that activation going. But that's because internally I'm harmonizing the divine masculine and the divine feminine within myself. So they're showing me externally.
Mm-hmm. And all that translates to more self-discovery, self-healing you do. It gets more clearer and more clearer. The signs are less spooky. You understand them. They make sense. And you get to see, you actually start merging your subconscious and conscious mind that allows you to perceive greater perceptual range, right? And this is how your emotional intelligence and your intelligence quotient merge together to bring you a total quotient spectrum, right? So now you can see and feel more than you could because you're using them together. It's amplified.
Yeah, and when I seen a hawk one time, I seen like sparkle. You know, like I used to call them when I was little angels. Like it's like these shimmers, and they like a confetti, but it's like what is that? You know, it's like almost like something you see in your eye, and you got to kind of turn your eye like, what the hell am I? You know what I'm trying to say? Have you ever had that experience?
Yeah, because you look and what you're doing is your visual light spectrum is pushing to broaden. So now you're seeing things come into the light field that you normally wouldn't see.
Oh, that makes sense. Yes. I remember when I was a little girl, and we had the black and white TV on the little chair. I'm laying in bed, and I'll just be watching the show, and then and I guess I was feeling lonely because my mom wasn't there, and so I will always see these little sprinkles come, and I'm like, okay, the angels out here, but it would get so overwhelming. I turn around, I'm like, okay, y'all got it. I'm trying to watch this TV show right now, move around. But now when I seen it the other day with the red-tailed hawk, I was like, it was almost like just coming down like just confetti, and I was just like, this is what happens when I was a little girl. And I would tell people, and they'd be like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, so
it's a good possibility you could be seeing stardust too. Because we got to remember, our souls is accumulated stardust. And when you're seeing people that crossed over, sometimes you see them as an orb. Sometimes you see them as a presence that you can't quite describe, like the Predator when he cloaked. Sometimes your mind can see them, they'll be standing there, and you'll be like, I so seem like I see somebody, but the naked eye don't see them.
That makes sense, because when I saw them, when I had this experience of the sprinkles, I was talking to my friend about her brother who had transitioned tragically, and I felt like it was a confirmation from her ancestors and my ancestors, like, because I did a veneration candle for him after that. So just the synchronicity of that, I'm like, yeah, I was like, but I haven't seen those sparkles in a long time. And like you said, it's the light spectrum of like being able to even notice a little tiny follicle floating across the screen, and like you just be able to perceive all these little small things. And people be like, how do you notice everything? Or it's because you're looking. No, I'm not sitting up here trying to find all the shit. I'm at this shit, so I see it.
Yeah. So when your spiritual perception comes on, people don't. What the perception is not always the same. Some people will hear, some people will see, some people will sense, some people will smell, some people will have a strange taste in their mouth. All of the different senses can be used according to the individual's predominant perceptual method.
Yes.
Right. And it's the same with your learning style, right? You learn by having different sensations lock in information.
What is your, like, so as we're going through as we're clearing this density from our ancestors and from our own illusions in our subconscious mind, what is your perception of sleep paralysis?
Sleep paralysis is the mind wake up, but the body still sleep. So when you first wake up, consciousness comes into the reticular formation at the base of the spine and moves to the front. When you higher spiritual evolve, like your third eye is open, it's not a overall, it's a direct line, and it'll wake you up faster than the body wake up because your other parts of the brain ain't activated. Right? But the main part, it's a direct line from your prefrontal cortex, where you have what's called mirror cells, and your black dot at the base of the spine.
MIRR.
It's a direct
mirror.
Mm-hmm. Right. So when they talk about empathy, and they talk about empathy taking place in the prefrontal lobe, they're talking about activated mirror cells that allow you to see another person with the same energy that you see the self. You just
Okay.
need a sympathy. A sympathy is anything that you can lock on to the frequency with. When I need to get my mama energy, I'm Pepsi. Right? Pepsi gonna get my mama energy if nothing else do.
So
Because
your
I'm
child gonna get that RC like you was talking about.
She stopped drinking that in about 73. She switched over to Pepsi. When I was a little boy, I remember when she switched. They had stopped selling it for a while.
They got that here in Chicago at the hood stores.
But you know, they started selling it up here.
Oh, in Detroit?
Yeah. I don't like RC.
Me
But that Pepsi,
I
I,
like Coke.
I know I tuned right into my mama with Pepsi.
That's good. You know exactly what's how to boom, 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 and that's beautiful. Cause okay, oh yeah, I just love having these conversations because all the thoughts that come to my Mercury's in Aquarius, so I'm like rapid, and so it's good to be able to have a conversation with someone who can understand and help me to put all the little pieces that came together today. So thank you for that. I'm trying to think. I don't got no more questions at the moment.
All right, sweetie. I'm gonna take one more caller, then I'm gonna lay my tail down.
Good night. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll talk to you later. Try it differently. I'm enjoying the day. Haven't been doing a lot of lives. Hey, sweetie.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh
Tell the people your name and tell them where you calling from.
wow. I'm Denise. I'm calling from South Jersey, actually Pleasantville. I was born in Atlanta.
Oh, Jersey in the house. That's 2 knocks off Jersey. Black Girl Magic, Asada Shakur up in this mother.
Yes, Atlantic City. 1980s, baby.
Y'all get it, girl. 80,
All right,
open
so
Queen seat. What year?
1980. October 6th, 1980. I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay. Libra, balance it out.
Yeah.
80, open Queen seat. Got you.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I've been listening to you for so long. Black Magic, Young Elder, wherever you at, I'm listening. Actually, when I first listened to you, it's been a couple years now, I started listening to your old stuff, like the beginning, when nobody was like really listening to you, thinking you was crazy. I'm like, he's saying the stuff that people be like, no, you crazy. When you first become conscious and people like, yeah, I think she's crazy. But thank you for letting me in.
You welcome. What's on your mind?
So, all right. I'm going to tell this story. So I lost my friend like 2 years ago, pancreatic cancer. So I got to be with him the last stages of his life, which was like 7 days. So I had two dreams. I put him on my heart and I had two dreams. The first dream, he told me that he only had a 30% chance of living. The next dream I had, it was me and him, and I looked at him and he looked at me and he said, Denise, you pregnant? And I said, pregnant? He said, Denise, you're 7 weeks pregnant. And it was weird because when I looked at him, I could see what he saw, which means I could see the pregnancy. So I woke up and I told a couple people, and then I finally got to be with him. It was on a Monday. He passed on a Friday. So he had one daughter, and I was there while he transitioned. And I'll tell people this, that until you see death, you don't understand what life is. That's how I felt. So he was going through the stages of transitioning, and during that, I got to see what it looks like, the hearing, the last time you'll ever speak, the closing of the eyes. And he told his daughter that he loved her. That was his his last words. And then he went on. But Rod, he died February 5th. February 20, he was buried the 27th, I believe it was. February 28th, I found out I was pregnant. And I have a 27-year-old and I have an 18-year-old. And I have a little girl that I always wanted, even with my first marriage. But I never got to get pregnant. So I kept having a lot of miscarriages. So I found out I'm pregnant. I have a little Olivia. And I just want to know, when you talk about the mitochondria that we have, I feel like being with him and helping him transition, and I got to feel the love that is hard for me to explain to people, because it's the love like that agape love they talk about, because it was like an unconditional love that I got to experience. Like, it's almost like I got to experience what God feels like. And I was just wondering, like, was that like, did he turn that spark on in me to transition from me to have Olivia?
Okay, so it's not that he turned the spark on. He became a bridge. He became a bridge between two worlds, right? Right. And his gratitude was to leave you a daughter, right? Because he wanted to reciprocate, right? Gratitude. And he had to go get the clearance from your ancestors on the other side. Once he got the clearance, 9 out of 10, it was one of your grandmothers who was trying to get back in, but because she didn't have any karma, she couldn't get back in. But she wanted to come, and she wanted to see a better day on the planet. So you'll know which grandmother it is. You know, it won't be no secret to your heart, and you'll just know as a mother. You'll just like, this is my dear right here. I just, this her. Right? You'll know, but you don't know why you know. It says your ancestors is giving you all of the signatures in your physiology to identify which elder this is that came back as your gift. By coming in with no karma, she can only receive good shit. Right? Right? Because anybody that don't have karma now to burn off, they coming in to receive what we call the gifts of heaven. Right? Right. So he opened the gate for your elder to return, and she's going to be the light of your life.
So me and my oldest have a rocky relationship, and I say it because I was 14 when I had him. I grew up in the foster system. I aged out, and me and my mom, we still got a good relationship, because I noticed I had to heal my childhood trauma in order for me to love her the way I'm supposed to love her.
That's breaking generational curses.
So my oldest came in from California, and his friend died. And we was at the gravesite. And my oldest is standing near Rod, and he's holding my lastborn. And I got my firstborn and my lastborn. And he has a lot of childhood trauma. And I'm looking at him, and I'm at the gravesite, Uncle Rod. Like, this is where we all going to end up. Our bodies, our resting place, right? But we live on. And I'm telling him this. But it was a healing moment for me and my son, because it was like the beginning and it was the end of something that has been going on for a long time that needed to come to an end.
That's also breaking generational curses. And the irony of it is it's taking place at the graveside. So now whoever went down in the dirt took the traumas with them to relieve y'all from them, right? So his friend was his friend for real. He knew that his homeboy, my main man, he loved his mama, but he just something there that's getting in the way. If I could take that from him, I'd take it. And he took it to the grave.
It was a girl. So the girl's mother passed away 2000. The girl's mother was my best friend. We went to a pregnant school together, but I didn't put 2 and 2 together when I went to visit the grandmother on behalf of my son. I didn't realize who the mother was. So when the grandmother said, I lost my son, I lost my daughter, now I lost my first granddaughter. So when she said that, it didn't register who the mom was until my son started talking at the funeral, and he was telling me how the funeral was. And I'm like, Tanya, I'm like, I went to school with her mother. I remember when her mother passed away. And I'm like, y'all used to play when y'all was babies. And I could just see the pain, like how it hurt him, because he really wanted to help her because, you know, she was trapped in the system. She had 2 kids, you know, she was trapped in the hood. She wanted to get out. Nobody's listening. She really drank herself and she bled out, and nobody was listening to her when she was saying that she was in a lot of pain. So having my best friend, and now her daughter passed, but the daughter was the best friend of my son, that ended up letting me and him heal, because I ain't talked to him 6 months prior. I reached out to him for his birthday. He never reached back. But then out of nowhere, he calls me crying. And you know, as a mom, no matter what, you come running. That's your baby. So I come running. So I'm like, why are you crying? And it was because she passed away. But I felt like that God gave me that incident happened to bridge what me and my son needed to heal. And it was just, it'd be like, you know, them things that happen where it's like too much of a coincidence. It's like, no, like, and I'm like, God,
so you have to tie off the loop. That's what this is. And off the loop, you have to ask the grandmother, right, to bless your baby. And it's going to tie off. So it's a tit for tat, right? Your best friend, your son best friend, right? Y'all, they both go on the other side, right? But her elder is here, right? So her elder is in grief. That's your baby godmama. She's the one who needs your baby to heal. She's her godmama. She the one that's your babysitter when you got to go out and do some errands and stuff. You have to ask her to be your baby godmama. She needs it for healing. So which your son poured his heart out to that girl. Yeah. She took with him with her what she could. Now you have to reciprocate in order to further all of the healing for everybody involved. This helps them on the other side, because now all of the things that she took with her, she can release them on the other side by you tying the circle. It's a love circle in 2 families. If y'all trace back far enough, y'all might have been related, distant relatives.
The grandmom looks like my grandmom, who you're talking about, baby Olivia. So my grandmom is, her name was Madeline. And all I know about our history is my grandma was born in the mountains of West Virginia. And my mom used to tell me, like, my grandma used to say stories how her and her brother used to swing off the trees and stuff. And I always felt like we never came nowhere else. Like, we always been here. Even when I was little, I used to feel like this. Like, I didn't come